Hate goes on and on until all hope is gone. It's Rhyme and Reason 442. Hey there, Tony here, and join in with me now as we sing to the tune of the old Sonny and Cher song, And the Hate Goes On. Drums keep pounding rhythm to the brain. La-da-da-da-dee, la-da-da-da-da. And I'm not talking about just any hate. I mean that good old-fashioned vitriolic kind so many people have for God. They hate God. And hate for God goes on and on from schmucks whose brains are gone. Yep, I said it. I'll freely admit, and I have more than once, if God doesn't exist, I'm a silly, hopeless fool. I might as well be part of the Sonny and Cher band. But the opposite is true too. If God does exist, and he does, then anyone who hates him or denies him or wants nothing to do with him, they're a silly, hopeless fool. And that's at best. And that hopelessness is far more extensive and painful than any hopelessness I might have, which I don't have. My hope goes on and on. Other people's hate goes on and on, but my hope goes on. And I know it'll never end, and I know their hopelessness will never end if they don't change now. Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because I found a hate-filled comment on one of my articles this week. And, of course, the hater couldn't make their point without vile, vulgar language. It came straight from the gutter. So he's not going to have a chance to have a platform on my platform to spew his stuff from. He doesn't get acknowledged or, he doesn't get any acknowledgement. And that's not to say that I wouldn't if he could, manage to be civil and right with just making a point instead of trying to show me how bad he is. One of the things this person said was how he's glad if he can do anything to hurt God, because he was referencing something that I wrote sometime back where I said it's possible for us to make God sad. And a lot of Christians, I think, don't believe that. They don't think you can change God. You can make him sad. But I know you can, and we can make him very upset. And I also said terrible, terrible things. I realize now, so terrible, like, so find good things to say to others. Show them you love them, even if you have to tell them something they might not want to hear. When you say it with love, they might just listen and change for the better. I know that's terrible. Should I just take that off of my website? That's just mean talk, right? I should probably remove that. I probably won't. Anyway, I know that what comes over me sometimes just is like that. I can't help it. What can I say? But things like that, they just flow out of me. And when I get vulgar, hateful comments like the one I saw this morning, it really triggers something in me to open those love gates to full capacity. Sort of that's a rebellious thing to do to that guy, I guess. I'm rebelling against his comments. That's, I'm so mean. That's just mean to me. But I am what I am, and it's all about tolerance and acceptance, right? Well, at least until you want to share God's love, then all bets are off. You just crossed the line, mister. But I'll be fine across that line, 'cause the love of God is mine. I'll opine in the sunshine, 'cause the joy of God is mine. But I'll be fine across that line, 'cause the love of God is mine. I'll opine in the sunshine, 'cause the joy of God is mine. And I'll align with the new wine, 'cause the life of God is mine. I can say that confidently because my Maker says that he's never going to leave me, never going to forsake me. And so if anything has moved, it's been me. And I know that he has made a way for me in spite of myself, and that will never change. My hope springs eternal. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of tolerance and acceptance and very little hate, because no one hates anyone, right? No one hates. We just don't want to hate. Oh, man. Make myself sick. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, this is brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com, maker of fine books and merch, words and music, rhymes and reasons, reminding you that rhyme does have life. I started to say that. Life does have rhyme and reason because God made you.